Hey, wagwan, ogenki desu ka? Welcome back to this channel. If you are an ardent follower, or if this is not your first time, and welcome to those who will be subscribing. Like no, subscribe and hit the bell. Thank you for coming back. I just want to talk about something real quick. I know that there are many persons who might be living in a country and they're thinking, okay, well, this is it. I'm ready to move. I'm ready to get a new experience. I'm ready to start a new life because I'm not seeing myself in this country. I'm not seeing myself starting a family. I'm not seeing myself having permanent residency. And then many of us are here in Japan. We're singing, truth is, I'm tired. Options are few. Oh, I'm all jumping out, hurt and abused, and we're ready to leave. So this video is about if you are planning to leave a country, and I'm going to be specific about Japan because but some of the things can be used or can be related to other countries, just tailor accordingly, right? If you're planning to leave Japan, I urge you to do these things. They are very, very important, especially for persons like us who are from countries are not so privileged, and we need to work a little bit harder to get things in life and to get things, resources to us. We don't come so easily. You want to listen to this if you are in that group, but of course it's for everybody if you want to watch. Okay, so the first thing I would urge you to do before you leave Japan is to get a Japanese driver's license. Sure, you're living in a big city, you don't need it. You have no intentions of driving. The transportation system is very good and the works, but I urge you to get a Japanese driver's license. The reason for this is that the Japanese driver's license is very powerful. Once you have that license and you plan to move to another country that has a certain agreement with Japan, you will become like one of those privileged people where you can just go into the driving center of that country and you exchange your Japanese license and get their license. That's what people from some of those countries do, like New Zealand, Australia. As it is now, if you are from Australia, Italy, Greece, Gambia, the UK, and some other countries, Canada, you don't need to do the exams in Japan. Just go there and say, yo, I come from there, you know? Yeah, me. And they just give you the Japanese license. You, like for us persons from Jamaica and Nigeria and other parts of the continent of Africa and other countries need to sit an exam. All right, so yeah, when we are from certain countries, things come a little bit harder for us. Of course, I wouldn't want to have it any other way. I wouldn't want to be anything other than a Jamaican. I'll just have to work a little bit harder to get the stuff. And it really helps us to be who we are. I realize that persons like us who have to fight a little bit harder for what we want, we tend to have a little bit more smartness when it comes on to street smart, and so different culture groom us, if you know what I mean. But anyways, their licensing process is very difficult for foreigners. Don't be surprised if you have to do it like 3 or 4 times. There are persons who are lucky or they have grasped the idea of how to pass the test and they can pass in the first go. But for the most part, people, even Japanese, might fail the first attempt. I have done the test twice in my previous prefecture, Shiga, and that is one of the worst. I don't know about any other prefectures, but that is terrible. That prefecture, that driving center, listen. First of all, the instructors are Japanese police officers and they don't smile. They don't even care of the fact that you don't know Japanese. You better go study Migi and Idadi Idadi means left, Miggy means right. You better study the numbers, because they're sitting like, and they're telling you, oh, when you get to number 2, turn left. And then they're like knee, and you're in your head, you're nervous, you're trying to stay on the left, you're trying to do all the little things. And yeah, so the process can be a little bit daunting. In this new prefecture, I've tried twice. I feel very bad that I failed, because these people are very nice in Wakayama. They want you to pass, and they told an interpreter that I brought the first time that the reason they're so nice to us is because they understand that we have a handicap, like as in we are foreigners and we don't understand Japanese language. And I don't care if they think we have a handicap, as long as them just nice to me and give me the license. I think both times I made silly mistakes, and for the next time that I'll be going, I'll come back and share with you how I get the license, how I pass, because I'm passing it in Jesus' name, and I'm studying more. I'm not going to take it for granted that it's a little bit easier, and they're more lenient with you. But I'll talk more about that. I actually have a long video about my the second attempt in Shiga, and how some of the things that you need to know, because it's not about your driving skills per se, it's more about following the rules. So I'll tell you more about that in a separate video. But what I wanted to say is, once you have that Japanese license and you go to other countries that have an agreement with Japan, like Canada and Australia and so forth, you can just exchange your license. Of course, you can go to those countries and do their driving exams and pay your money and, you know, get your license. However, I'm just saying, if you have the opportunity to do it, because my motto is make hay while the sun shines. So if you have the opportunity to do it whilst you're in Japan and it's not so expensive, unless you decide to take the expensive route, which is driving school. And for driving school, it's like 200 to 300,000 Japanese yen, which is like $2,000, 3,000 US dollars. If you want to do that, like some person said, Japanese buy them license, because they basically just go to school, and once you go to school, it's a guarantee that you'll be getting your license, and just follow the rules and you get it. So if you want to go that route, if you have that money, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm just saying, it's a powerful thing to have. It expires in 5 years. If you're still living in Japan and you want to, if you plan to stay in Japan and you want to get the license, it's also good, because all you need to do is go back and do your biometrics and get it renewed. Number 2 is learn Japanese. So some of these things that I'm telling you about are not the easiest things, but trust me, they will help in the long run. I believe so, by the way, because you don't know where life will take you, and it can be mendokusai. I know. However, some persons believe that, oh, because Japanese is only spoken in Japan, I don't need to learn Japanese, and that is not true. Once you learn another language, it is a skill acquired that is so beneficial and valuable. And you're living in a country, might as well you try to grasp a little bit of the language, because it's easier to learn while you're living in the country, as opposed to studying, reading books and watching videos, because you're living it every day. So you may not be like myself. I'm not necessarily interested in learning Japanese in-depthly, but I want to learn a few helpful phrases that can take me through. What if I go to another country and I go to a Japanese restaurant? I can order my dinner in Japanese. You know how nice that look, and you make friends right away. Also, not just to think about yourself, because life is like this. Let me tell you, it's so good to pay it forward. I'm here, and there are times when I'm looking lost. I get lost easily, and I get lost a lot. And luckily I don't have to take the train to go to school, but it's straightforward. Anyways, I might look lost, and then a Japanese person who went abroad might come to me and say, oh, excuse me, can I help you? Where are you going? And then they just want to talk and, you know, use up the little English skills that they've learned because they've traveled to Canada or US or whatever. And they feel good. It feels so good to know that somebody can help you out and, direct you to the right place and stuff like that. So if you go somewhere else and you meet a Japanese person, you can, pay it forward. You can help them in whatever way because you know a little Japanese. So if you get what I mean. Also, because you want to create a network and forge good relationships that will last, not just when you're in Japan, but you can call on people if you need something. Because you don't listen, the world is big. Do not lock yourself in a box. And so it is good to know Japanese. It's good to know at least the basics so you can communicate with persons when you leave Japan. So that takes me to my third point. Do not burn bridges. There are persons who are willing to be your friend. I know there are a lot of persons who are just pretending to be friends with you because they want to speak English and all of that. But I, from personal experience, can say there are genuine persons who look out for me, who wants to keep in touch, whether or not I'm in their prefecture or because I've moved from that prefecture and I still keep in touch and all of those things. And that is so good. What if you decide to do some investment in Japan? What if you decide to do some open a business or something? You may never know. So it's always good. That's the third thing. Forge proper relationships before you leave. Get all the contacts, the telephone numbers, email addresses, and all of that. Right? And the next thing I'd like to say is leave an impact. So I've only been at this school for a year and wow. My book is in the library, One Big Irie Family, and the librarian make a note, oh, try, it's in English, but do your best. And so many things that I've already done in that school where, yeah, it's so impactful. And I'm really thankful that I was able to do all of those things that I've done. And yeah, it just makes a world of a difference to know that after you've left, people will still talk about not how terrible you were. You've heard me talk about Bob all the time, right? Bob Sensei. He says we should call him Bob because he loves Bob Marley, and he really do love Jamaica. He wants to go back. He wants to travel to Jamaica. He's never been. So the way I treat Bob, he told me that he loves Jamaica even more and he has like a positive outlook on Jamaica. Even though he Googles stuff and it come to me all the time like, okay, is this true? This and that happened in Jamaica? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, so he knows the little issues that we have in our little country, but he still loves Jamaica and he doesn't see me as a bad person because of whatever happens in Jamaica. He says he sees Jamaicans as very wonderful people because of my interaction with him. And so that is so touching, like, yeah, very impactful. So of course I know you're working and you make up your little money and you go to ramen shop and you do your sushi and you wear kimono, you take pictures and you put on your Instagram reel and you do your Facebook and your YouTube and all of those things. You're creating memories, which I really do appreciate. I'm very sentimental. I love to create memories. But with a lot of the memories that we create, we're spending, we're spending, and we're not really investing. So it's money being lost, if you know what I mean. So for you to see something from all of what you've been working, I urge you to do these things. Another thing is you can go to the thrift shops and just try to get the made in Japan stuff. Like this one is, of course, everything I say is optional, but for me, I always say I want to have things to show to my grandchildren. So yeah, you pick up a little thing or a little, even a skirt made in Japan. When you move away, you can have something to show. Like you have a lot of made in China stuff here as well, a lot of made in other places, but something to say, oh wow, like this particular ring that I have, when you look on the inside, it's made in Japan, inscripted. Of course you can get made in Japan stuff, but to know that you bought this in Japan, you know what I mean? So those are like some little things I would like to encourage you to do before you leave Japan. Of course, as I've said before, even if you're not living in Japan, you're living in Germany, Italy, France, for example, try to learn the language. Oh, and what you can do for the driver's license thing, just research for your next move. Okay, so for example, you want to go to Canada, research what the driver's license process is and weigh the pros and cons. Is it more expensive? Is it more difficult to get? And yeah, I just think that once you're in a country, get what you can get from the country, not just the money where you spend back in the country and the taxes where you pay out of the money, but at the end of the day, you have something in your back pocket where you can say, you know what, I have had good, I've had bad, and I've had excellent things, because we can just go down to the driving center and say, yeah, privilege. So that's my little encouragement. Let me know in the comment section any other thing that you would consider to be important that you should leave with. I'll just see you in the next video. Big up on yourself. Boom bang. I'm out.